Alright, let's talk a bit about tuning. So the standard tuning for the violin is G, D, A, and E. So the violin is actually tuned in fifths, and what I mean by that is that there are 5 notes between each string. So for example, you have your open G, and then you have G, first finger is A, B is second finger, third finger can be C, and then you have your open D. So there's 5 notes between those 2 strings, also 5 notes between D and A, and 5 notes between A and E. So there's a couple of different ways that you can tune your instrument. One is by ear, and the other is with an electronic tuning device. So first I'm going to show you how to tune your instrument with an electronic tuner. There are a couple different options that you can get. One is a clip-on tuner, and there are lots of different brand names and types out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clip it onto the scroll of my violin. So the scroll being the top, right by the peg box. And I'm going to turn it on. So when you tune, you're going to either be tuning with the fine tuners, which are down here on the tailpiece. So there's 4 little knobs there that connect to each string. And there are also the tuning pegs. So the tuning pegs are at the top. If you can stick with the fine tuners at the bottom, it's going to be a lot easier and a lot easier to get it perfectly in tune. The pegs at the top, when you tune with those, the tuning, it's a lot harder to get it very precise, and it's a lot easier to break strings. If you do have to use the pegs at the top, try to tune down, so move the peg counterclockwise before tuning it up, and that will help avoid breaking the string, and it'll help everything move a lot smoother. Now, the pegs are kind of finicky as well because they're made of wood. They are greatly affected by humidity and things like that. So while you're tuning, you might need to push the tuning peg in a bit as you tune so that it sticks. Now if your tuning peg is not sticking, there might be a couple of things that you can do to help it stick. One is you can get peg dope, or there's other options for things that you can put on your pegs to help them stick. So what you would have to do is you would have to take the peg completely out of the instrument. So you would undo the string, take the string off, take it out, and you would put the peg dope or whatever other options that you might have. If you're wondering about that, then the best, and you haven't done it before, the best option would be to take it either to your teacher or to a violin technician. Another thing that might be affecting the pegs would be humidity. So especially in the winter time, it's very important to humidify your instrument. The humidity levels are a lot lower in the winter, so the humidity or the moisture is going to go right out of the pegs because they're made of wood. So if you humidify your instrument, it's going to make it a lot easier for tuning. It's not going to go out of tune as fast, and you're also going to be avoiding cracks in your instrument. Alright, so I have my electronic tuner here, and you can kind of see that it lights up. So on the electronic tuning device, it's gonna pick up the string names. So for example, when I pluck my E string, an E shows up on the screen. And right now it's perfectly in tune, and this particular tuning device turns green when it's perfectly in tune. So there's a couple indications telling you whether it's in tune or not. The screen on this one's going to be green, and a lot of them do change color when it's in tune. And the other thing is there's an arrow on this tuning device, and when the arrow is in the center, it's in tune. So if I tune my E string so that it's too high, it's too sharp, the arrow is going to be on the right hand side of the center. So in order to bring it down, so I need to make it flatter because it's too high right now. So in order to do that, I'm going to turn my fine tuner counterclockwise. Okay, so now it's in tune. I'm going to bring it down so it's too flat now. Okay, so it's very flat. So in order to make it in tune, what I need to do is I need to make it higher. So I'm going to turn my fine tuner clockwise. So I'm turning it not too quickly so that to avoid breaking strings. Okay, so now the arrow is right directly in the center and the screen is turned green. So if your string is too flat, you're going to have to bring your fine tuner clockwise. If it's too sharp, you're going to bring it counterclockwise. Same thing with the pegs. If it's too flat, you're going to turn your peg clockwise. If it's too sharp, you're going to turn it counterclockwise. Alright, so I do the same thing with the other strings. I just pluck them separately. Or you can play with your bow as well. But sometimes it's easier when you're tuning to pluck instead of bow. Alright, so if I'm tuning by ear, what I need to do is I need to have a reference point for one of my strings. So usually you use the A string as a reference point. So you're going to find something that you can hear an A note. So you can either have a pitch generator, or a tuning fork, or a piano to hear the A string, and then you tune your instrument off of that. So for example, I'm going to use the piano to play an A note, and I'm going to tune my A string with the piano. So that's the A note on the piano. And my violin is pretty in tune right now, actually. So they are in agreement. So what I'm going to do after I have the A string in tune is you're going to tune each string with that A string. So for example, I'm going to start with the D string. So I'm going to play my A and my D string together. I'm going to bring my left hand over to the fine tuner so it's ready to tune. Now I'm going to make it a bit flat just so you can hear what it sounds like when it's out of tune. So right now it's out of tune, and this is a skill that takes practice as well. So if you're not hearing it right away, or if you're not sure if it's in tune or out of tune, just keep working on it and practice it, and then you can double check it with an electronic tuning device. So I'm going to play my A and D together again. And I'm going to slowly turn my D string fine tuner up. Now at this point I've gone too high, so I need to bring the fine tuner down again. So now it's in tune. You can hear when it's in tune, you won't hear as many waves in the sound. So for example, if I'm flat, you can hear a bit of a whoa, 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 whoa. So I'm going to bring it back up, and you're going to hear the waves disappear. There you go. And now I'm going to tune the G string with the D string. practicing this is if you're unsure if it's in tune or not, you can bring the string down a bit and then bring it back up, so it's easier to hear the difference. So now that I have the A and the D string tuned together, and the D and the G string, I'm now going to tune the A and the E string. Alright, so that is how to tune your violin. If you have any other questions, please feel free to email me, and if you have any requests of other videos that you would like to see, let me know.